Hey everyone, Brobuscus here, and you know what time it is. It's time for a death battle. Okay, this episode we have Spider-Man from Marvel versus Deku from My Hero Academia. Obviously, this is Miles Morales versus Izuku Midoriya. You know the drill by now. Anyway, as always, there should be a link in the description below. Go watch the actual episode yourself. Go support the official release before watching some random guy on YouTube react to it. Okay? Got it? Cool. Real quick before we get into it, I know this reaction is coming out a little late, and I also don't exactly sound the most thrilled. That's not the episode's fault. I was on a about 2-day road trip. So I took a vacation with my family. It was very nice. About a 2-week vacation, and we drove about 2 days back. And I got back literally about not even an hour ago. So I'm a little tired, but we're going to power through anyway because this is an episode that means a lot to me. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to my friends. And I could have very easily watched this in the car and not done a video on this, but then what would that say about me? You know, this is a match that means a lot to myself and my friend group. I'd be damned if I didn't do a reaction video to this. Plus, it is a match I am also very excited for. So yeah, so let's just talk about it. So Miles Morales versus Izuku Midoriya, Spider-Man versus Deku. I read almost 200 Miles comics during the lead up to this episode. So I like to think that I have at least some degree of investment in this guy. I've also seen both Spider-Verse movies. I just watched the second one just this morning. I've played the Insomniac games. They are peak. I don't care what anybody says. And yes, I know yes, that does include Spider-Man 2. The game is amazing, and I'm really not sure why that got such a negative rep over time. But anyway, so, and also it's Spider-Man. I really like Spider-Man. Something is opening up on my... How about you go away? Peter's been asleep for 2 weeks, and this is what happens. Okay. Anyway, as for Deku, as for My Hero Academia, I did watch a little bit of it, and it is something that I have, like, had some serious thoughts about starting over, since I kind of stopped after, I want to say it was season 4. That's the one with, like, Overhaul, right? That's the one I remember watching that, and then I think I stopped afterwards. It is something I have thought about giving it a second go. I wasn't super into it when I watched it, but I didn't think it was bad by any means. I thought it was fun. I just didn't have much of and I just wasn't invested enough to keep going, but maybe it's something I should change. Okay. But Deku is a fun character. I wasn't super into him at first, you know, through like the first season, I guess. But he grows, you know, as you'd expect from a shonen protagonist. So yeah, I don't have much of a problem with Deku or with My Hero Academia. It's just not something I was super invested in, but it's something I have thought about going through again, just to maybe when I have more time, because I don't have a lot of that. I haven't had a lot of that lately. But anyway, so with all that being said, obviously who I want to win, who I think is going to win. Well, who I want to win should be pretty obvious, right? Did anybody miss the part when I said I read almost 200 Spider-Man comics? So yeah, I'm definitely rooting for Miles here. That being said, for who I think is going to win, I think Deku has this in the bag. I think Miles has a lot of like smaller advantages that in a closer fight would be a big thing. Like I think he has. I do honestly think he's more experienced. I think he's probably more skilled. Smarter, I'm not 100% sure on. Book smarter, absolutely. This man has pulled off some insane intelligence feats. Street smart, tactics, I think that could probably go to Deku. I think he's relatively even with Deku in terms of speed. I think the spider sense is a more useful like radar than Deku's danger sense. But all that kind of doesn't matter when I just don't think that Miles has any real way to actually kill Deku, because Deku's just too strong. He's just too strong. He's too fast. Not too fast. He's too tough. And I think in general, a lot of like, even though I think Miles' abilities are like very much helpful, and I think there are some ways he can get through some of Deku's quirks. Like I think Smokescreen, Miles' spider sense would be able to detect Deku through there. On the flip side, I don't think Deku's danger sense should detect Miles when he's invisible, because I remember hearing that Peter couldn't detect Miles with his spider sense when he was invisible, so I don't think Deku should be able to do that either. At least not at first. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But in general, Deku's abilities are just more varied, and in general, I just think his strength and durability are just way too much for Miles to handle. So, yeah, I gotta go with Deku here. But we'll see what happens. I'm down to be proven wrong. But I've put this off for far too goddamn long. Let's watch this episode and see just how much they cook with this.
Miles Morales versus Izuku Midoriya.
SpiderMan versus Deku. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's
Simple
our job
enough.
to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
See what we got.
All right, let's take this from the top again. This is Peter Parker. He was bitten by a radioactive spider, and for who knows how long, he's been the one and only Spider-Man.
A friendly neighbor to all of New York City. In a universe filled with super soldiers, hulking green Goliaths, and world-shattering gods, Spider-Man is there to look out for the little guy.
But in a multiverse of infinite possibilities, that doesn't always last forever. Like in Universe 1610, when NYC's Webhead got iced on the job.
The city was left without its protector. But fortunately, Peter wasn't the only one who got bit. Enter Miles Morales, a young teen from Brooklyn just trying to figure out his place in the world. And now, he had it thrust upon him.
The canon event to start all canon events. Now it was Miles' turn to be the
This
hero
looks
the Big
GameSpot.
Apple needed. And he had all the usual spider kit to help him out.
This
Okay.
spider carried the Oz formula, a genetics-enhancing serum
Like
that granted
Naruto,
Miles
DBZ,
superhuman
JoJo's.
strength.
Yeah, he and
The
Genki are
ability to
weebs.
alter his body's electron attraction to crawl along any surface.
And you can't forget that classic spider sense, an internal warning system that lets Miles know about incoming threats so he can react ahead of time. He even got an upgrade that acts like a radar, letting him see through stuff.
But no spider person is complete without their web shooters. Given to him by Peter's Aunt May, these webs have all sorts of applications between swinging, grabbing, restraining, projectiling, and being made into constructs.
Not having Peter around to show him the ropes made things a lot tougher though. And
Yeah.
between mishaps with wall crawling and web slinging, Miles got off to a rocky start.
Like any typical teenager, he had a lot of self-doubt. Could he keep up in school? What was the right way to talk to girls?
And how could he live up to being Spider-Man when one of the villains he had to face turned out to be his very own uncle? Makes family dinner so awkward. All that
Maybe a little.
trying to kill you stuff.
Fortunately, Miles had a leg up on every other superhero known to man.
Living parents. Better yet, loving parents. They
Well-
supported him when things got tough, even if they didn't always see eye to eye.
Okay.
Thanks to them, he learned that the best way to be Spider-Man wasn't to do it like Peter, but to do it his own way.
And it helped that this particular spider had a bit more to its bite than Peter's. Miles has a variety of unique powers, like invisibility and venom.
Not like Tom Hardy, though it is weird
No.
to give your main power the same name as one of your bad guys. Come on, Spidey.
Maybe a little.
It's important.
Miles can harness his own bioelectric energy and weaponize it, which is especially effective against individuals with genetic mutations.
Punching, absorbing, blasting, mega blasting. Hell, he can even make electric constructs out of this stuff, like biowebbing and a damn sword. Jeez, what kind of spider was this?
It's not entirely science fiction. Studies have shown that certain species of spiders, such as the Linophiidae, have a process known as ballooning. By spinning a thread of their silk, they can use the Earth's natural electric fields to fly, traveling up to hundreds of miles. No pun intended.
I mean, okay.
Well, whatever kind of bite it was, it gave Miles the edge he needed to find his worth as Spider-Man.
Miles can dodge gunshots, missiles, and lightning bolts. He survived all sorts of beatings, including a building exploding on top of him.
Oh, geez, Spidey could lift buildings and dodge light speed attacks, and Miles is more than a match for him.
Like the time
True.
he absorbed the energy of a bomb that was going to vaporize Harlem. A blast that would have equaled 15 million tons of TNT.
He's gotten kudos from a ton of older heroes too, becoming a member of the New Ultimates and the Avengers. He even helped form the Champions, a team of teenage superheroes with the likes of Miss Marvel and Ironheart.
The king of Wakanda himself even suited him up with some Wakandan vibranium.
The same stuff as T'Challa's own suit. This super rare and tough metal can absorb kinetic energy and vibrational impacts.
It helps to regulate Miles's venom powers too, allowing him to better control his electrical output.
The vibranium is thinner to better fit his acrobatic fighting style, but it can still shake off most fatal attacks like they're nothing. This stuff is tough enough that Deadpool's swords have shattered against it.
Though it's not as durable as, say, Captain America's shield, and enough
True.
kinetic energy will overload it.
Don't be near it when it does, or you'll end up like the Falcon here when he used his vibranium wings to stop a bomb that was gonna blow up New York City. That's twice now. Does any other city have to deal with this stuff?
But when vibranium and spider powers still aren't enough, Miles can push his electrical output into overdrive.
Giving him huge boosts in strength and speed, and making him a whole lot zappier. It's your classic shonen power-up, and he knows it too. He's a bit of a weeb, and has a thing for mimicking some favorites.
Despite his initial insecurities, Miles has more than managed to live up to his predecessor. No longer standing in the shadow, but side by side.
Literally, his universe got blown up, and he was sent to the main 616 timeline, along with his family. And now it's him and Peter as a pair of Spider Bros.
He's even become one of the big players of the Spider-Verse, teaming up with all sorts of other spider variants to defend the multiverse.
There's anime spider people, robot spider people, dinosaur spider people, spider people, a whole lot of them, each with their own way of getting the job done. Miles even led them into battle against the Inheritors, a bunch of interdimensional vampire assholes.
This is what Stan Lee was proudest of in his favorite superhero. Regardless of who they were, any sort of person could wear the mask and do the right thing. For so long as we stay true to ourselves and help others in our own unique ways, then anyone can be a hero.
Yes, sir.
But what is a hero? To the citizens of Japan, there was no one more
That's a good
synonymous with the
transition.
word than their symbol of peace, All Might.
The big numero uno. With a smile on his face, he could save anyone and win any fight, no matter what.
Or so it seemed. After a battle with his arch nemesis All For One, All Might was grievously injured. His time as a beacon of hope was coming to an end, and he would need to find someone to pass on the torch.
In this world, most human beings evolved to have their own individual superpowers, or quirks, but not everyone is lucky enough to get one. Like this kid named
And those that
Izuku
are lucky
Midoriya,
enough to
or
get
as
one
local
are
Bull
probably
Bakugo
unlucky enough
likes
to get
call
one
him,
that really
the
sucks.
good-for-nothing Deku.
Izuku wanted to save people just like All Might, but even his idol told him that he would have to give up on his dreams.
Romantic
Forever
interest.
the
Oh, you know,
beta male in
one
the
of them.
shadow of Bakugo and his Sigma quirk, until he got the chance to alpha up and lend his rival a helping
You need to
hand,
stop.
proving himself worthy of All Might's torch.
And so after months of training, Izuku was granted All Might's quirk, one for all. This power allows him to boost his strength to incredible heights, using it for smashing attacks named after specific US locales and a soccer club.
Or football, as they call it.
Straight punches, spikes, even finger flicks, One For All is the ultimate in strength-enhancing quirks.
The first time he used it, Izuku destroyed this giant robot in a single blow on accident. Too bad it wasn't the only thing he destroyed, though. Damn, that looks like it hurts.
One For All's power was so great that the recoil would shatter Izuku's limbs when he used it. In the hands of an improper vessel, One For All could cause their body to explode, so Izuku would need to continuously train to master it at his Hero Academia.
Say that again.
UA High.
Here he'd be inspired by girly pop Uraraka to turn his zero name into his hero name, becoming the Deku who always does his best.
Something that he may have taken too far.
When it came to
Maybe a
saving
little.
people, Do Your Best here had a bad habit of putting others way before himself. Sure, everyone else was okay, but he'd be good for nothing all over again if he got himself paralyzed.
So to cut down on his hospital bill, he developed full cowling. Instead of using his quirk in short bursts, he would continuously spread the energy across his body at low percentages, using it for acrobatics inspired by Bakugo's explosive movements.
And with that new thinking came a new fighting style, shoot style. To use a stronger limb that'd be less likely to break, Deku took a page from Nerd Emoji Ida's book and switched to focusing on kicks to pack in more of a punch. Yeah.
And that power would be needed. After a climactic battle with All For One, All Might would be forced into retirement, just a few months into Deku's training. Now it was his turn to face this demon lord.
But he didn't have to do it alone. Just as All Might had passed One For All onto Deku, it had been passed onto All Might by his master, and onto her by her master. One For All was a power that was built upon for generations.
The quirks of the previous users of One For All manifested in Deku, along with their spirits, or vestiges, to help him in his battle against All For One.
Black Whip gives him energy tendrils to swing around and restrain foes. They can also brace his arms and manually control his muscles if he can't move.
Float allows him to soar high into the sky. By combining it with controlled blasts of pressurized air, he can effectively fly.
Danger Sense detects incoming threats and unease, letting Deku react in advance, though it's mostly like an alarm bell and doesn't tell him specifics like location or number of threats. Familiar?
Smokescreen lets him create a smokescreen, but he can use it up to create a bigger smoke screen.
That's swell and all, but the real meat is in Fajin. After building up kinetic energy within his body, Deku can unleash it for bursts of strength and speed.
He's combined it with Black Whip to create the powerful Black Chain binding attack, and can use it in conjunction with full cowling to achieve foe 100%, equaling All Might's full level of power without any recoil.
He once used it to outspeed a bullet shot by Lady Nagant, a former hero turned villain who has a sniper rifle for an arm. I think I'm in love.
Nagant's bullet once crossed a distance of around 215 kilometers within a fraction of a second. That's 6,700 times faster than sound. And Deku was moving so fast, the bullet seemed like it was standing still.
And he can go even faster than that with his final quirk, Gear Shift.
By touching a target, he can control its speed without abiding by the laws of inertia. He can slow down foes to leave them frozen in the air, or move so fast he can punch multiple times in an instant.
Even All For One's own protege Shigaraki couldn't track him, and this is a dude who can catch light-speed laser beams.
It does have a time limit though. After 5 minutes of continuous use, Deku's body will catch up to his speed, suffocating him as his cells become unable to take in oxygen.
Not nearly as bad as One For All was suffocating him, though.
Can hit you really hard.
All of this shit in just the 10th grade. I hadn't even figured out you can breathe through your nose at that point.
The pressure of having to save his friends, the country, the entire world weighed on Deku. So he left UA to fight this war alone.
But alone was never where Deku fought best. Having come from nothing, his admiration for his peers gave him strength, just as they admired his strength and desire to help others. Even Bakugo came around to him.
So when it came time to finally put that demon lord back in hell, his classmates, teachers, mom, friends, enemy, and everyone else supported and cheered him on. Because that was the greatest threat to All For One's reign all along.
Not All Might, not Deku, not even One For All itself. Just people helping each other out. And with their help, Deku defeated All For One once and for all, blowing a hole in this huge storm and parting the skies for a brighter future.
Though he did lose his quirk and have to retire from hero work, getting
Damn.
a regular 9 to 5 as a teacher, passing on his knowledge to the next generation, just like every user of One For All before him.
Some might say he peaked in high school, if not for the sick new armor he eventually
I was
got
gonna say.
back to kicking butt. He even made it all the way back near the top of the rankings.
All with the help of his friends. For so long as we keep reaching out our hands to help those in need, everyone can be a hero. Hello, it's me, Store-Bought Benjamin. I know what you're asking. Benjamin, what are you wearing?
Dummy thick.
Yes, that's our mechanical menace Mecha Goose pulling down the trunks of poor Dummy. Our new summer line of merch is available now on
This is a wild
deathmetal.gg for a
advertisement.
limited time. Website members can even get this in a unique color scheme. And there's a hat. I like the hat. I know what else you're asking. Benjamin, why did Wiz build robot butt cheeks on Dummy? I don't know.
Fair.
Get your cheeks at www.deathbattle.gg. All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
It's time for a death battle!
And pause. All right, let's talk about this. All right, so yeah, I still think Deku's gonna win. Honestly, that didn't really tell me anything that I wasn't quite familiar with already. The only thing I guess I didn't really mention is that is gear shift, because to be quite honest, I wasn't like 100% on how that worked. But if it can like slow down enemies, then I think the relative speed that both of them are sitting with, you know, both of them can dodge light beams. Then I think that combined, I think their even speed on a base level, and then Deku being able to slow Miles down or speed himself up could tip the tide in his favor a little bit, which doesn't help Miles in any way, shape, or form. I guess I did neglect to mention the vibranium. That's neat and all, but like they said, it is thinner than Black Panther's own suit, and it's not as indestructible as something like Captain America's shield. I think Deku is more than strong enough to get past it. So, yeah, I don't really know what more I can say. I still think Deku's going to win. I think it just kind of confirmed everything I was saying. So let's get right into it, yeah? Ah, yes, the comic book opening. I like that.
Huh? Yo! You're more man and less spider than usual.
Whoa, I was looking for you. Care to show me what you can do?
All right, new guy. First lesson? Don't watch the mouth. Watch the hands.
Now watch mine, Delaware!
All right.
Let's try that one more time. Guess who?
I can't use my full power here. Gotta take this somewhere else. Oh, gross!
You got skills, man. I like that.
Did you just break the web shooter, or am I tripping? Okay, yeah.
Oh, mierda.
Really old New York City, hello?
I moved us to an abandoned part of the city so we can go all out! Because I always do my best!
Okay. Nice. Ooh.
If I'm gonna do my best, gotta do my own thing.
Okay, I like that.
Sarah was right. Your quirk is amazing.
Amazing is my buddy. They call me the ultimate Spider-Man.
Nice.
His suit has shock absorption, not nullification. So, it's got a limit.
Uh-huh.
Go beyond!
Okay. Oh.
Spider-Man,
Hey,
you really are
you forgot the hyphen.
the ultimate.
Okay, that was cool though.
Vaya con Dios, Araña Joven.
Let's start by talking about their superpowers, which matched up quite evenly. Unsurprisingly, given the not-so-subtle inspiration for Deku's quirks, though they did
Yeah.
have some edges over the other.
The Spider Sense gave Miles more insight on his surroundings and threats than Danger Sense, which has been worked around before.
This meant Miles' invisibility was harder for Danger Sense to detect when he wasn't attacking, while the Spider Sense's radar system allowed him to find Deku in a smokescreen. But Izuku's other quirks granted him advantages of his own.
Float was a lot more mobile than Webs, and Fajin gave a bigger boost in strength than Venom did. Since both had some advantages and disadvantages, we're gonna call superpowers a tie.
Next
Okay.
up, speed. Scaling to Peter, Miles could dodge light speed attacks, which actually outpaced Izuku moving faster than that sniper bullet. Fortunately for Deku though, that wasn't his best.
Thanks to Gear Shift, Deku could speed himself up to match Miles the same way he did to the light-catching Shigaraki. Even worse for Spidey, one touch from Gear Shift could freeze him in place and make dodging totally impossible. So speed goes to Deku.
As for
Fair.
skill, Deku was incredibly talented at analyzing an opponent's abilities and coming up with strategies on the fly.
But Miles' powers and fighting style gave Deku few immediate openings.
Deku may have received more formal training at UA, but he was ultimately only active in hero work for a little under a year.
Meanwhile, Miles has been
Fair.
handling everything from neighborhood crooks to multiverse-ending gods for significantly longer.
It's close, but with his greater experience, skill goes to Miles, and that means the biggest deciding factor is raw strength.
And that was no contest.
Yeah.
Miles absorbing the energy of that bomb was nothing to scoff at, but overwhelming power is what One For All is all about.
When Deku defeated All For One, the energy needed to part those clouds with his punch had a yield of 362 billion tons of TNT, smashing the bomb Miles absorbed out of the water.
But it wasn't as simple as that. Miles is wearing a vibranium suit after all. So
True.
the question wasn't necessarily who was stronger, it was if Miles' suit was tough enough to continuously absorb Deku's blows.
When the Falcon protected New York from that city-destroying blast, it had a yield of 546 megatons. Impressive,
Okay.
but Deku defeating All For One was still over 600 times stronger than Vibranium's limit.
And Deku did that with One For All's embers, not the full package.
And remember, the Vibranium in Miles' suit was much thinner than what Falcon and Black Panther had, making it unlikely
True.
it could absorb as strong of a blast.
It's there to provide more protection, sure, but there was no way it could survive all of what Deku could dish out.
In this superpower battle, it was Izuku's overwhelming speed and immense strength that made him the winning hero.
And the morales of the story is...
The winner is Deku.
Okay.
next time on...
All right, what do we got? Okay.
Subscribe
Hulk versus
and join us
Godzilla.
November to see more Death Battle. Thanks for watching.
Yep, saw that coming. Yeah, okay. All right. That was a fun one. That's definitely, I feel like I say this all the time. That is definitely one that I'm going to have to sit on a little bit longer for like rewatches and stuff. But it was still fun. It was still really well animated. Moro absolutely knocked it out of the park with that. I definitely need the track on its own. By now, it is probably long since out. So I definitely need to listen to that on its own to get a better judgment on that. But the animation was really good. The voice acting was solid. The music, from what I did hear, was pretty good. The combat was neat. I do like Deku's idea of taking it to a more abandoned part of the city so they can go all out. I like that. I like that level of thinking. Yeah, I think I mean, in general, I just think this is a really good fight. Is it up there as one of my favorites? Admittedly, no, but I still had fun with it. I still had a lot of fun with it. And then next time we got Hulk vs. Godzilla. Kind of had a feeling that was gonna be the case. With how soon we learned that Devil Artemis and his team was gonna be working on that episode, especially so close after Master Chief versus Doom Guy, I was like, okay, it's really only a matter of time, right? For us to get this one. So, all right, guess I got to get to work on that too. Awesome. Okay, still looking forward to it. It's gonna be a fun one. I need Hulk to puny Godzilla. I need that in my life. I guess just quick bets right out the gate. Well, I want Hulk to win. That should come as no surprise. I could absolutely see it going either way. I am more leaning towards Hulk right now, just from what little I do know about both. I have done some stuff in prep for this one, but I've read probably 80 comics for Hulk when there's over 2,000 of them. So, yeah, wish me luck. All right. Well, with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get going because I am in need of a long-awaited conversation with my friends who've probably been waiting on me to watch this episode for way too long. So I'm gonna cut it here. So with that, that's all I have to say. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will talk to you all in the next video. Bye, everybody.